going to give you an example in the Quran of Inda, just so you can appreciate Inda. Okay? So, the first one. Okay? Is anyone familiar with this verse? Rabbi bani li indaka baytan fil jannah. No? We're going to go through the translation. What's Rabbi mean? My Lord. Now, the actual origin of this is Ya Rabbi. Yeah? What's been omitted? What's removed? Huh? The Ya and the... Yeah, the other Ya. They've both been omitted. Now, in the Quran, when Allah removes the first one, Ya's to get someone's attention, like you're shouting out, Oi! To someone. When that's omitted, it's as if I'm not needing to do that. So if I'm next to Tasneem, I'm not going to say, Oi, Tasneem, to you, because you're right close to me. So Tasneem. So the idea is that the person feels a close relationship with Allah without the Ya. Okay? That's the first thing. Now, why the omission of the next one? If I say Rabbi, it's as if I feel like I've got time and I can use my breath to express myself. But if I feel in a desperate situation, you say it quickly, Rabbi. Does that make sense? So the idea is the person's in a desperate, it's like they're saying this quietly to themselves, and they're quietly to themselves, and they're feeling a sense of sort of anxiety in the situation. Does that make sense? Okay, that's that. Ibni, what's that mean? Yeah, it doesn't know. That's the assumption. It's not a noun, and the clue is that it doesn't have double dhamma on it. Okay, this actually comes from the verb bana. Bana yabni, which means to build, and children come from that because you're building the next generation. What's a beautiful thing about this is that the idea is that each generation, the next generation, builds on the other, so that the generations that come after, they don't have to do the grafting that the first did. Does that make sense? If you think about it, that's how our community, the Pakistanis, they said, I'm going to basically slog my guts out, the first generation, and work hard so that my children don't have to do the sort of grafting I did. Yeah? So that's an idea that each generation you're building, so they're not having to do the same old work we had to do. Okay? Does that make sense? So that's like children. That's one aspect you can look at it. Okay. The next one, so this is a command, it means build. So, my Lord, build for me, well done. From you? No, it needs min before it to do that. Yeah, with you, in your vicinity. Remember, Inda means literally vicinity. In your vicinity, close by, what? A house. The garden, yeah, I prefer. Don't say paradise, although it's not wrong. It's not wrong, it's just I like to keep it literal so we can appreciate the words we're using. So we've got so, oh my Lord, build for me, right in your midst, right before you, right in your presence, a house in paradise, in the garden. Now, there's abnormal sentence structure here. What would be, out of these words, which word would you assume would go first? So build. What would you build?
The verb comes first.
Well, verb, then? Yeah, direct object. These aren't direct, that's got a preposition. This is considered like a preposition. This is the word. You build a house for someone, don't you? You don't say you build for the person a house. So that's abnormal sentence structure. This word you'd assume go here. So then we ask, when there's abnormal sentence structure, we ask, why have these been brought forward? So always the brain says, why has Allah done this? So build specifically for me. Right in your, so the focus first is on me. Then the focus is in it, I want to be close to you. And then the house is the next concern. So say you're going to go choose a house. First of all, I want to like the house. Sorry. First of all, it's about me. What am I getting out of it? Then you focus on the neighbours. Who's the neighbours like? Then the last thing is the actual house, isn't it? What's the point of having a house if you've got lousy neighbours? Okay. If you're married, if you're moved in next door to the Munsters or the Adams family, you're going to have you're not going to enjoy yourself. Yeah. Who said this dua? Do you know? Asiya. Who's Asiya? The wife of Fir'aun. So what's Asiya's situation?
She's in a dire situation.
Well, initially, she's not in a dire straits, really. So I want to look at... No, you're right. I want to get to there. But first of all, she's got a lovely palace, probably, hasn't she? She's married to who? Yeah, she's the king of kings of the king of the time in Egypt. So she's got probably everything she wants of dunya. But then she decides to do what? Yeah, go on. Become a Muslim, to accept...
Can we say that?
Yeah, because they were the Muslims of the time. So she became a Muslim. She followed the Prophet, Musa. Yeah? Alayhi salam. So, what happened to her now? When Fir'aun finds out, does he say, it's all right, my love, our relationship's more important to me than... He didn't really think like that, did he? He says, we can go to a counsellor and sort these issues out. You know. He said, right, it's either me or Musa, and so she chose Musa, and what did he do to her? Yeah, he tortured until she died. Okay? So she sacrificed all that. So here's the context now. Oh my Lord. She's not going to say, she's in desperation. Okay? Build. So I gave up all that dunya for the sake of the faith. So for that, build for me right before you are, because you're why I've chosen you over everything else. Now, Inda means, has a nuance as permanent as well. I gave that situation, I always say that there's two, in a relationship between a husband and wife, there's always one of them that likes to eat everything straight away, and there's the other one that likes to store it like a little squirrel, okay? I'm the one in the family, I'm the one that as soon as I got it, like within a week it's got to be gone. Yeah, it's on my mind. While my wife, she's the one that basically likes to leave, like she'll take a little bit of it, eat it, and then she want to leave it for another time. And it would frustrate the living daylights out of me. So then when I see the sell-by date's probably got about 1 day left, so I say, right, I'm eating it now. And I eat it, and then she goes, oh, where's that thing I was, it seems like there's this dormant alarm bell that goes off, like he's eating it. And so then I'm in trouble. Yes, this instinct. So I don't know, it'd be nice to do this little test. Is it in the relationship? Is there always one that eats everything and the other one that likes to save it? Yeah? So Sonia, she eats it, yeah? Just need to save it. I don't know. So, I'm not Inda. I would never say that something's Indi because it doesn't last long. It's in me, yeah, but it's in the vicinity somewhere. I've digested it. Now, that's got that nuance that I want to be in your presence for a long time. Does that, obviously forever. Yeah, does that make sense? So it's something in the vicinity and it's there permanently, or for a long time. Then a house. Now, why did he use the word bait? He could have used a number of words. Why bait? What's bait express? A place. Go on. Huh? Bayata. What was the root? We did this a long time ago, though. A place where you sleep at night for sanctuary. Do you remember that? So it's not necessarily a house. It's a place of sanctuary where you rest at night. So obviously, after she's been through all that darkness of all her struggles, she wants to have a place of rest where she's safe from all of that. Okay, and that's why Sayyidah Khadija radiallahu anha, one day the Prophet was at home, and Khadija came to give him some food, and Angel Jibreel alayhi salam came to him before she came. He says, "Your wife's coming. Give her glad tidings. Give her salams from me, and tell her she has a tent, literally, it says qasab, which means an oyster, like a pearl that's hollowed out, because the tents of paradise are these pearls that have been hollowed out. And she will be in there and she will suffer no more noise and no more hardship, because she went through a lot, okay? And so that similar thing, okay? So this house in the garden, these groves that are protecting. Remember, groves, they cover up there's so much lush greenery that you don't need to have walls, they just protect you from the gaze. There's a big focus in paradise is that you have like these houses that are see-through, in and out, but there's such a distance between you and others, no one gets a vision, no one gets to looking at your privacy. So it's as if you can be open and no one's going to invade your space at the same time. You should get company of other people in paradise. What I'm saying is that that's a concept, is because in this life, when we're open with people, a lot of the time what happens? They take advantage of you, they treat you cruelly. He's saying in paradise, basically, you can be open and no one will take advantage, and you can be yourself and you can open up. Okay, so that's that concept. So notice how much is lost in the translation there. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the appreciation of Inda.